What up, my crafty peeps? It's Luann, and I'm here with a video tutorial on how I made my floating waterfall page. And that is on this mini that I did. It's a princess mini. I actually have the cover completed on this one. This is, in my previous video I hadn't added the name, but obviously I've added the name. I have a piece of paper in the background that I've crinkled, and I've added a bunch of little gems, couple of butterflies, and I looped some ribbon around the crinkled paper. So this is the finished cover, but the page that I want to show you how to do is this one here, or something similar. I'm going to show you how to accomplish this. This is my waterfall page. My floating, sorry, it's my floating, that's the key thing, it's a floating page. You see? My floating waterfall page. I absolutely love how this came out. And I do have another page in this book that is kind of similar. I'm going to try to just go through what you need to do and not, you know, over explain things. This is a floating page. You can't tell, but it is. And then I have these that are floating pages right there. And then these two. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm actually working on another mini that I'm going to do this for, and I'm going to do a different style, but I'm just going to use this as an example. What you will need is a craft knife. You can use your paper trimmer. You can if you want to, if you don't mind cutting through it with glue or ATG tape or wet glue. I wouldn't use it only because it's not as accurate as I'd like it to be, and I just don't want to jam up my blade with glue. I would use an X-Acto knife or a little blade like this. A ruler, I'm using the Tim Holtz ruler with the metal edge, so that I like the metal edge. You don't cut through your ruler like I have with my other rulers. Some sort of adhesive, I'm using my ATG, and you're going to need Tyvek. This stuff, you know, the hard to tear stuff. So what you're going to start off with is, I'm going to use this as an example. Let's just say this is my base page, my page that's going to be in my book. Now this will only work if you're going to layer. For example, in my book here I have envelopes. These are craft envelopes, so I created this page before I glued it onto my envelope. You need to be able to do that. If you're not going to glue this down to anything, it's not going to work unless you are creating your own envelopes and you just cover up the back so that there's no obstruction when you're if you're creating a pocket. There won't be an obstruction when you're sliding your tag in. So let's say this is my page example, and then these are my sample floating pages. I'm going to layer them how I think I would want them to be. Let's just say I would want them like that. And what I would do, of course I would measure, but I'm just going to eyeball it right now. Like that. Let's say I want it like this, and I would get my pencil, which is way over there, and it has my company logo, and I don't want it on the video, so I'm just going to use a pen. Now just make two little marks from corner to corner. Actually, it would be from the outside corner, like that. You remove this one, and then you would do the same thing for your next sheet. Remove that one, and then your third sheet, and remove that one. And then you would just use your knife. Actually, you wouldn't even use that now. You can either draw a line from dot to dot to make a straight line, so you know where you're cutting, or you can just leave it alone, and when you're ready to cut, you can just cut. Another way to do it is to have, oops, sorry, I have a phone number here, is to have, what do you call it, Post-its. These are Post-its that I got from the 99-cent store, so I don't have a problem using these and tossing them when I'm done, or reusing them, but you can cut down the width of how large you want your tag to be, or your floating page to be, which is what I've done in my sample. and just layer them like so. And then while they are still layered, just cut through it. So once you have your lines or your placement done, what you're going to do is you're going to figure out how much Tyvek you'll need. Now I'm going to bring out the page that I'm actually going to be using for this. It's already set up, ready to be cut. So this is the page that I'm creating today, and I have actually, and I started from the bottom. I started from the bottom because I wanted enough space in the bottom, and then after I laid down my first post-it, which is this one here, I grabbed my ruler and I just measured 1/2 inch from the bottom and then layered my top one, and then I did the same thing. And I realized as I was using the same color I couldn't see the edge, so I had to use a white piece of paper to allow me to see my edge. Glue down my post-it, and then I'd go over to the next one, and then I just started alternating my colors. So I'm going to be doing 9 floating pages in this one, and I actually haven't cut into this yet, but I do have 9 post-its here, and I will be cutting from corner to corner while the post-its are still on my paper. And I'm going to turn it this way. My post-its, like the sticky part, is up to right here, so you only need to cover. What you'll be doing is you'll be cutting slits at the top of each post-it or at the top of each placement of your tag. So for this one, for example, you've placed these tags down like that, so you'll be cutting from corner to corner for each one. That's why you drew the dots or lines. You can draw lines too if you'd like. So you only need it enough to cover the opening. So for example, sorry, I don't want to go back and forth. I'm trying to be as quick as I possibly can. So for this one here, you can have a piece of Tyvek that'll cover this section here, because I know Tyvek is expensive and sometimes it's hard to come by. I get, the envelopes from the post office, and then you can have another little strip to cover this one. What I'm doing with this one is I'm covering the all of the openings with one piece of Tyvek. So from this section here all the way to here. So I actually need a 5x5 piece of Tyvek, which I've already have cut out right here, and it will be glued like that. So it'll cover the back of my paper. And the Tyvek will give your paper the durability. So as you move your pages up and down, it won't tear your base sheet. So I'm going to put some glue on this, and you need to cover the entire thing. If you're not going to cover the entire thing, make sure you cover where your holes will be cut. I'm going to do that now. Oh no, that is a piece that needs to absolutely come off. I'm using the ATG, but you can oh no, I ran out. As everybody always says on camera, it always happens when I'm on video. I should have totally checked to see if I needed any. That's actually pretty funny. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm all covered with adhesive, and it looks like I am pretty good. I need to get this corner that I tore off that little edge bit from. Okay, so this is my piece, and I need it to be like right there. So I'm going to place that right there and rub off any excess sticky stuff. Okay. Make sure you place that down really well. Sorry. I do have a bone folder, but it is, I don't know where it is actually. Okay. So now that we have our Tyvek down, we are going to cut our holes. And I wish I would have had this step done earlier, but I didn't want to ruin other paper. So I will be cutting from this corner to this corner. So if you see my ungroomed hair top of my head. I do apologize. Okay, and I have to do this 9 times. I totally should have prepared, but I wanted to show you how I put down the tie back. Okay, so again, corner to corner. Cut a little piece, and there you have a slit right there. And it didn't go through all the way because, of course, I need a new blade, and I didn't, oh, there we go. And I didn't change it. Okay, so that's my first one. Take off your Post-it, go to your next one, and a little bit of background as to where I even got the idea to do this was, I do mention it in my video where I have my Princess mini album, but I was looking for the accordion, the hidden hinge binding online, and I couldn't find it. And I do mention that I later realized that you had to pay for it, and I thought I wasn't going to pay for it. I didn't want to, I don't know, I just didn't think I should pay for that. And then later I realized I totally cut that crooked. Make sure you don't cut it crooked. Ugh. I have bad eyes. Did I tell you guys that? Anyway, we can fix that. I'll show you how to fix that. Yeah, we can fix that. Anyway, I found a tutorial that someone was doing an album. It was a Marion Smith album that they had printed and they were putting together, and they made a little pocket in the background paper before they glued it down. And I thought, oh, that's pretty neat, because they didn't have to have a pocket up top to make the book bulky. And I saw this video about 2 years ago, and I never did anything with it. I thought, hey, I'll have to try that one day, and I never did. I still haven't tried it, actually. And that actually gave me the idea to make a floating waterfall, or a floating map page, because, you know, they float. And basically what you're doing is you are adding your hinge through the paper and sticking it to the back of your background sheet. And that way you can still see through the pages. So I have like 4 more pages to do. I'll try to be quick. Sorry. And then I saw in the same video how they were doing additional flaps. And I thought, oh, that's pretty neat too. And you know, everything I've seen on YouTube, I haven't tried. I've tried maybe about 5% of the things that I've seen. And a lot of it, I mean, you kind of grab the ideas that you see and you change it, you modify it so that it fits your needs. And that is how you have all of these wonderful crafters out there with all of these amazing tutorials and all of these amazing albums. Like the albums that I see out there, oh my god. Like it takes me a good like 2-3 weeks. No, I'm lying, even longer than that. Probably 3 to 4 weeks to complete an album. Some of these people just crank them out like nothing. God, that is some talent, I'll tell you that. Let's see. You know, and this is actually a page for a wedding mini that I'm doing. It's a gift for a coworker who actually got married this weekend, and I didn't have enough time to finish. Actually, this one is going to be an interesting tutorial, or video, or book I should say. Because actually, it's a theme wedding, and I won't tell you what that theme is. And you can't tell by looking at this page either because it's off theme. But it was a theme wedding, and they said, yeah, it's a theme wedding, it's totally going to be this. And I'm like, I don't believe you. So I waited until the wedding was done and had somebody confirm that it was indeed a themed wedding, because I didn't want to create the album and then not have it be theme, and then I just kind of look like I don't know what I'm doing or not attentive to, you know, other people's plans or conversations, and I didn't really talk to her. I actually didn't talk to her about her, now I'm rambling, see? Jeez. I didn't talk to her about her theme, but she did order a mini from me once for her best friend's wedding. And we had a shower for her at work, and I didn't give her anything, so I think she probably just thinks I won't get her anything, but to her surprise, when she comes back to work this next Monday, she will have something on her desk. Okay, so this is my base paper, and now I have all of these little slots right there. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And for the background paper, I used shimmer paper, shimmer cardstock, and I stamped the top and the bottom with a stamp that I cannot remember what the name of it is, but it's a border stamp. And then the Love Wish Dream and these little flourishes here is Tim Holtz, right there. And I used Tuxedo Black, Memento Tuxedo Black for the black stamping, and I think it's the London Fog for the gray. Okay, so this is my sheet, and now I have all my slits in there. And now you're going to need your pieces of cardstock to fit into your slots. Now, once you decide, or once you've placed all of your papers and you know what size you're going to use, however long you cut your paper, or however long your template is, you need to cut it about 1 millimeter smaller so that you have room to slide it through the slot. I have mine done, which is this one here. And mine measures 3 inches height by 4. Haha, this is how I do my measuring. 4 3/4 minus a millimeter. I can never do like the 16ths or anything like that. I always minus, 4.5 minus a millimeter, or 4.5 minus 2 millimeters. It's weird, I know. So I'm starting from the bottom, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to slide your card in. Oh, sorry. When you have your measurements, like this one was 3 by 4 3/4, right? So your height, you need to add 1/2 inch because you need a hinge. So because mine was 3 inches high, I had to cut my paper 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 minus a millimeter. And then you score 1/2 inch on the top. Once you scored 1/2 inch, you need to angle the edges. You can see that right there, like that. You angle your edges so it's easier to slide into your little slots. So you're going to start at the bottom, slide it in, and then just push it onto the paper, and you fold the flat back in the back. Now you'll notice that your paper sits on top of the slot. Don't let the top strip here go over your sheet like that. It needs to be at the bottom because that is what will cover the cut that you made. So once your paper is in and it's pretty straight, you'll turn this over, and then turning this flap over into the strip above it, it's going to be hard to do, so you actually have to kind of force it. Put down your glue. I'm using my ATG and I have enough. Now before you glue down your flap, you need to turn it back over and make sure to push the strip back down below it. And make sure again that your strip, your flap here, your floating page is where you want it to be. It takes a little bit of work at first, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be good. And why do I have to come up with all of these things that are so complicated to make? Like, I don't have to put the Tyvek in the back, but you know what? I want it to last a little bit longer, so I, added the Tyvek in the back. Okay, so there is our first sheet. And my strip went over my flap, so I need to push that back down. So there is your first one, right there. Now we're going to add all of our other ones, and I will try, actually, put your glue down first, below your cut. Actually, that's easier. And if I can figure out how to edit the video, I will probably fast forward, but I probably won't be able to figure that out. So Too bad I don't have a story to tell you guys. Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there was a princess. Let's see. Okay, so see, I aligned my top photo mat with the bottom one. Make sure it's all the way through, and then fold it down. There we go. And our next one, let me glue my sheet. Let me put this away before I run into it. And once you get the hang of this, this is pretty easy. I know, I'm sorry. It seems like a lot of work with the Tyvek and the lining up and the cutting, but I think it looks so pretty. And you can see your paper, you can see your background paper, and it's not, you know, hidden. And that's one of the biggest things with the designer paper, like the paper packs. It's so pretty, and the butterflies and the flowers and all of that other stuff, and then you cover it up with photo mats. Yeah, you can fussy cut the flowers out or the butterflies or whatever, the rooster, but I'm not a fussy cutter, and I want to be able to see my paper. It's like I make an album just to display the paper, which, you know, it's not how it works. So I figured, you know, if I do this on some of my pages, then I still am able to see the entirety of my background paper. Okay. See how easy that is? Again, once you get the hang of it, you'll be great. Let's see. And I'm actually using my I have a tutorial up on my craft envelope mini. It's actually not called craft envelope mini, but it's not a tutorial. Yeah, I do have a tutorial on that. But every page has 2 pockets, and to keep these pages down, again, because I'm not showing the book right now because it's just way too incomplete. In one of the pockets, I have a 12 by 4 1/4 piece of paper that's scored in half. And the top half, typically I would just fold it in half and just slide it into the pocket. But to hold these pages down, I'm only sliding one of the pages into the pocket, and the outside page will be laying on top of the waterfall pages to keep them from flapping all over the place. Almost done, people. Just 3 more. 3 more. And you can do this with any angle, any size. You can do it on the side, like I did in my other book. You can, you know, scatter them up. They don't have to be lying on top of each other. And I love the waterfall pages, like the ones that you pull down. I absolutely love them. My husband loves them. He loves playing with them. Every time I make a new album, like, he says they all have to have them because he loves those pages. Okay, so this one is the one where I screwed up and cut totally not straight. So I can fix it, but the inside might not look so pretty. We will see. So when you do this, don't do what I did. Cut it straight. Okay, so your flat needs to go underneath, and you need to line this up with your other pages, and then just press it and stick it down. And I'll show you how it's not going to look so pretty. See that? You can't see my score line. Let me show you my score line. I'll show you my score line right now. My score line, not my cut line. Okay. So the bottom of the pink paper is my score line, and you can see how when I cut the paper, I cut in an angle, in a downward angle. So you can fix it. I'm going to mat this so you will absolutely be able to tell that I kind of goofed there, but it's not that big of a deal, and it wasn't that much of an angle. so it's not so bad. And now for my last and final one, I have this pretty little one that I've decorated. Isn't it cute? It's simple, yes, I know, but I thought it was cute. I used some Fisker stamps. It has love is permission to be, dream come true. The most beautiful view is the one I share with you. It's right there. And this flower and these other little white flowers are from Wild Orchid Crafts. It's the white flowers, and I just inked them with my black soot blender sponge. And this big black one is an I Am Roses that I sprayed with my homemade black mist. So my last sheet, and then we are done. Thank you all for your patience. I know I tried to be as prepared as I possibly could be, and I don't even know how long this video is, but this is how I made. Oh, that looks so pretty. I love it. Absolutely love it. Look at that. I love it. And then that's your page. Exactly like a waterfall, but without the pulling tab, and you can still see your paper. This is what I mean about still being seeing your paper. You can see in between, because typically the hinges, I did 1/2 inch taller than my photo mat here. But if you were to do this and not cut the slot here and stick the hinge through the slot and stick it in the back, you would fold it and glue it down on the base paper, but it would need to be bigger, so you would absolutely cover your background paper. And oh my, I love this. This is so pretty. I love it. And once you mat the back side, it'd look even better. Look at that. That's so cute. I love it. 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 So cute. And the other paper, let's see. Let me just bring out the flap that I was telling you about, but without showing you the book. And this one's going to be upside down. Totally upside down. So this is one that I have for another page that I did that slides this way. So basically my pocket will be on this side, and this will slide in this way, and it'll hold the pages down, like so. And these I won't worry about so much, because eventually with the other mat and the photos, they'll weigh themselves down. So this is how I created my waterfall pages in my princess book, which are these here, and then these here. Oopsie. And for these mats that are inside, these inside mats, I did them a little bit smaller than this flap here, because I wanted it to be hidden. And then these, that is how I made all of these. I just, you know, for this page, I had just a long thin strip of Tyvek that I just glued down the sides. Again, you only need to glue down the Tyvek where you're going to be cutting down your slots. You don't need to cover the entire back page. So here's my waterfall, my floating waterfall page. I hope you guys liked the tutorial. I hope you guys have use with it, and I would really love to see what if you guys create anything with this type of water or floating page. Again, I haven't seen it anywhere. The only thing that I've seen was a pocket that was, yeah, I'll show you what the pocket was like. Again, let's say this is your paper. The pocket was cut like this, just on the paper, and then the tag was inserted. Here's a brief tutorial. The tag was inserted into the slot like that, and then they turned it over, and then they added tape. It wasn't wet glue that they added. They added the sticky back tape, the double-sided tape, or ATG, I guess you can use, but you can use wet glue too. They did wet glue around the perimeter of the tag, so that the tag, when you insert it, because this is the back side, when you insert the tag, it won't move side to side, and it won't go all the way down and then get lost. So I actually thought that was pretty neat. And then what you can also do to make, because if you're cutting onto designer paper, it might not look so pretty, but what you can also do is you can just cut a piece of paper that is the size of your slot. Here, I'm going to do a brief tutorial. Yeah, let's do that, and let me see how big my slot is. I can't see my slot. Oh no. Okay, let's see. Hold on a second. Bear with me, guys. Okay. So you have, and I'm just making this up as I go along, okay? So I've cut this piece. This little piece here will go into the tag or into the slot if I cut it right, and I did. And then you can fold it over like that, but of course you would cut it a whole lot straighter than I did. Look at me, just busting out tutorials left and right. Okay, it's just 2, I know. Alrighty. And you can do that and do some decorative, I don't know, chipboard or whatever, and then you have your tag. And that would still, it would cover up your little cut line, which is awesome because you would not be able to see it, and you would still be able to slide your tag in there. So that is another brief tutorial. You can make pockets for your tags without actually creating pockets. I mean, you can just have a piece of paper like this. You can even make it longer to make it look like a pocket, and you won't, because you don't have the side, you know, folded hinges, you wouldn't be adding that much bulk to your page. So there it is. I'm done, I promise. I went way over than I thought I would be. So again, I hope you like this tutorial. I hope you use it, and I would really love to see what you create with it. So if you do create something and you post it on YouTube, just message me or leave me a comment with your with the link or the name, your channel, and I'll absolutely check it out. So again, thanks for watching, and I apologize that the video was so long. See you guys later.